Warning, there is a good chance Bitcoin Mike has no idea what he's talking about. Do your own research. Enjoy the show. Thank you. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content. All right, folks. Bitcoin showing a little bit of strength today. 29,310. Up pretty good from yesterday. I think yesterday we were at like 28,400 or something like that. So we're almost up $1,000 on Bitcoin. Ethereum back up to 1,900. BNB 317. Cardano 39 cents, pushing 40 cents on the beloved Cardano. And Litecoin $93. I think Litecoin will be back at $100 before you know it. And we got Theta coming in at 107. All right, folks. What's going on today? We got the stock market kind of pulling back today. Bitcoin pumping. You know, Bitcoin has been doing its own thing lately. This is what Bitcoin does when you get this far through the bear market cycle. I've been saying before, the next Bitcoin halving is probably going to be March. That's less than a year away. We're going to get to a point where Bitcoin just pumps no matter what the stock market does. Now, I do think we're going to have a volatile year. There's no question about that. But Bitcoin is almost at that point now where it's going to take off and do whatever it wants to do. All right. Cardano. We all love Cardano. Cardano might get a new AI-focused Cardano founder drops hint. Charles Hoskinson, founder and chief executive officer of Input Output, the blockchain startup in charge of Cardano protocol, has hinted at what might be the new focus for the proof-of-stake network. Talking on his official Twitter account, Hoskinson shared a video of YouTuber Vinny Passad, a medical director, on how ChatGPT could revolutionize the world of medicine. While not much was said by Hoskinson, there is a general notion making the rounds that artificial intelligence, AI, as we know AI, will probably be the next big narrative in crypto. We've already seen AI cryptos pump. A lot of them have pulled back because they pumped a little bit too soon. They were pumping in the middle of a bear market. I mean, Bitcoin's $15,000, $16,000. You got AI coins pumping. So, but I do think going into the next bull market, you're going to see a lot of AI and metaverse leading the way. So, while not much was said by Hoskinson, there is a general notion making the rounds that artificial intelligence, as embodied by ChatGPT, will change the face of every aspect of our lives. Innovating in the AI space has no bounds, and it will come as no surprise if Charles Hoskinson leads the Cardano team to find common ground with respect to forming functional partnerships with development teams. Additionally, Hoskinson may also be fueling or backing the development of dApps that can leverage the technology underpinning ChatGPT, dubbing large language models. Okay, there's no doubt in my mind that Cardano and some of those Cardano side chains are going to be involved with AI. This is what I've been telling you guys, folks. This is also why I like Theta, whatever it's called, big in the gaming, and also they have AI partnerships. You want to be in projects that are going to have connections to what gives us those next big giant pumps going into the next bull market. And I do think it's going to be AI and gaming, and I think Cardano is going to absolutely kill it. I also saw this article, if I can find it. Cardano whales go on a huge shopping spree buying up Cardano dip. Although Cardano hasn't performed well since the start of April, losing support above 40, Cardano whales have been engaging in a shopping spree over the last 2 weeks. Cardano whales, large holders, have been engaging heavily in the market over the last 2 weeks. These whales have accumulated a total of 560 million Cardano tokens, amounting to 218 million in value, according to recent insights provided by cryptocurrency trading expert. The trend suggests that Cardano is becoming increasingly attractive to institutional investors and high network individuals. Folks, I've said it a million times. I've already lived through this Cardano shit. I've already lived through Cardano 2018, 2019, where Cardano just hung out between 4 and 8 cents for like a year and a half. Everybody's sending me messages, all my friends telling me how Cardano is not going to do anything. Everybody's making YouTube videos saying, Cardano, it doesn't do anything. You got Bitcoin pumping, you got Are these other coins pumping? Cardano's not doing anything. And I just kept mine and I kept buying, and that's exactly what I'm doing this time as well. The whales accumulate, and eventually they say, I'm done accumulating. And then the thing goes off to the moon. And that's what's going to happen with Cardano. I just had somebody on my comments yesterday just basically telling me that Cardano was shit. Folks, you guys who are not believers in Cardano and you're believers in like XRP or BNB, which is an obvious security, Matic. If you're big into Matic, I highly suggest you guys to look at the Crypto Banter Rand Nooner interview with the founder of Matic. He's like a used car salesman. Now, I'm sure Matic will do fine, it will pump. But I like to invest in projects that actually have intellectual CEOs, people who are not scammers, they're not sleazeballs. So Cardano, Theta, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I think Doge is going to do well as well because you got Elon Musk pumping it. So, also Litecoin as well, because Litecoin can never be labeled a security. Bitcoin, 29,188, folks. I think Bitcoin has a really good chance of hitting $30,000 today. If it does, we'll probably get rejected. I don't think Bitcoin's going to go too much past 30,000. I think it's already pumped too much. I think coming out of the summer, maybe we'll get to $35,000, $40,000 Bitcoin. Like I said, the end of the year, $40,000 Bitcoin. But eventually, Bitcoin is going to say, you know what? Or at least the big money in Bitcoin is going to say, you know what? Bitcoin's in this range. It's not going past 30,000. Let's put some money in some altcoins. And then you're going to see these altcoins make their next level, where you're going to see Cardano go up to 75 cents. Dogecoin maybe hitting 15 cents. Even Matic maybe back at $1.50. Theta over $2. So the altcoins are just getting ready to rip. It's just all a waiting game right now. But we are seeing a bullish day in crypto, even though stocks are pulling back. We've been talking on this channel really for the last couple months how the US dollar is not the US dollar that it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. Of course, as we all know, the US dollar is not backed by anything. It's only backed by the U.S. being a big country, and a lot of people are using the dollar as a means of exchange. Gold does not back the U.S. dollar anymore. We've seen of late countries like China, Brazil, Russia, and a bunch of other countries. Actually, just yesterday I saw a story that parts of Europe are talking about not using the dollar anymore, or talking about we shouldn't be as reliant on the dollar. So here's an article, U.S. dollar could lose most of its value in 5 years, investment manager warns. Wouldn't surprise me. And if you were to tell me this time last year, I would say, you know what, you're a conspiracy theorist. Dollar's not going anywhere. Well, folks, we're already seeing the writing on the wall. The U.S. government's not going to admit it. They're going to be pumping the dollar. The U.S. government, when it comes down to the dollar, they're kind of like a BitBoy or a YouTube shiller. If the dollar drops 99% in value, they're still going to be out there telling you how great it is. And that's kind of their job. Their job is to pump the U.S. dollar. But we see countries getting out of the U.S. dollar. It's not going to be a means of exchange anymore. And unfortunately, I believe a lot of people who have most of their money sitting in U.S. dollars are going to lose most of their value. For me, I was actually a big hoarder of cash. Mark Cuban would always say cash is king. And I'm looking to get out a lot of my cash. I bought a lot more cryptocurrency in the last few weeks. Actually, money I really wasn't planning to put into cryptocurrency. And I'm also looking to buy a rental property, but that's not going to happen until, or another rental property, but that's not going to happen until Bitcoin goes into its bull run at the end of the year. But the fact is, I think we have time. I don't think this is going to happen tomorrow. It's a slow bleed, and you'll see country after country after country getting out of the U.S. dollar, and eventually the sheep will realize it. Now, of course, the sheep aren't going to realize it until it's the last minute, and then your dollar just basically collapses. So here's an article, U.S. dollar could lose most of its value in 5 years, investment manager warns. Investment manager Larry Lepard has warned that the U.S. dollar could lose most of its value within 5 to 10 years. Following the onset of the Russian-Ukraine war, the U.S. did something which I perceive to be very stupid, which it is seized $600 billion of Russian currency reserves. And that sent the message to every other country in the world that, hey, if the U.S. doesn't like what you're doing, they can grab your money. Absolutely. Would you want to be 100% reliant on the dollar if you're some foreign country? A lot of Russians had their money seized by the U.S. government just because they were Russian. Like Russian oligarchs who just happened to be rich. They would have their money seized, their boats seized. It's absolutely ridiculous. That's why I think this Ukraine war that we're involved in is going to be the beginning of the end for the United States. I say that as a U.S. citizen. You know, the U.S. can only poke its nose into other people's business for so long before it all blows up in their face. You know, Iraq was a disaster, even Afghanistan was a disaster, Vietnam was a disaster, and I think you've seen us poking into this Ukrainian situation. And by not going in militarily, but basically just trying to screw Russia over by messing with their currency, it sends a message to other countries that, hey, why are we even using the U.S. dollar? We don't have to. There's Bitcoin, there's gold, there's euros, there's yen, there's yang, there's yang, or ying, or whatever the hell it's called. I mean, you don't have to be in U.S. dollars anymore. So investment manager expects the U.S. dollar to lose most of its value in 5 to 10 years. Larry Leppert, investment manager, founder of Equality Management Associates, shared his prediction about the demise of the U.S. dollar in an interview with Kitco News published on Wednesday. It's not just him, folks. The stories are all over the place right now. Like I said, this was just yesterday. It was Marco Crona, whatever his name is, in Europe. He came out, I'll pull up the story. He said we should not be reliant on the U.S. dollar. That's a big ally of the United States. And they're pretty much saying right now, hey, well, fuck you. We're looking to get out. Here it is. Europe must resist pressure to become America's followers, says Macron. The great risk of Europe faces getting caught up in a crisis that is not ours, French president says in an interview. Folks, people are looking to get out of the dollar. Like I said, I'm not going to ramble on this too much. We're going to do a lot more stories on this because this is probably one of the biggest stories that Americans, or at least anybody in the U.S. dollar, should be following, and they're not. They're following, like, you know, whatever American Idol or whatever. Is American Idol even still on? But they're following like that some stupid trial with that Gwyneth Paltrow trial. They're just following stuff that doesn't matter. When your U.S. dollars becomes worthless, because it's back, your U.S. dollar is backed by nothing. You're done. You're done. So the writing is on the wall. Countries are getting out of the U.S. dollar, and for me, next bull market, hopefully next year we have the next bull market. You know, there's no guarantees. I'm going to be taking 99% of everything I make in crypto. It's going in gold, and it's going in real estate, and then I'll probably buy back in the crypto in the bear market. But I'm not holding significant amounts in U.S. dollars anymore, at least starting next year, because I think starting next year and the year after, you're going to see people flooding out of the U.S. dollar, and it's going to become worthless. Throughout history, every major currency becomes worthless at some point, and every superpower goes to shit. I say this as an American. I love my country. I've been all over the world. Every country I go to, I want to come back to America because I love it. But that doesn't mean the U.S. dollar isn't going to go to hell in a handbasket, especially with the current leaders we have in this country that are printing money. We got inflation. And like I said, the U.S. dollar simply isn't backed by anything. They can keep printing more, and that devalues your money. And we already see that every day. Pretty much everything's doubled in value. Your sandwich, which was, you know, $4.99 before the pandemic, is now $9.99. I mean, it's a disaster. All right, folks, like and subscribe. Talk to you later.